Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and welcome to another edition of Without Notes. The show title, I think, is pretty explanatory. It's a conversation with fascinating people, at least I hope fascinating, without any agenda except that the conversation be real and human, authentic and transparent. Today our guests are most unusual, an odd couple, the Rabbi and the Rascal. The Rabbi and the Rascal. The Rascal is a former gang member and drug addict, recovering. The Rabbi is a man who played a pivotal role in that journey. We're going to have a fascinating conversation, an unedited, unscripted conversation with the Rabbi and the Rascal. Rabbi?
Yes, sir.
Forgive me, can you top that? Where were you born?
I was born in Whittier.
Okay. Where were you born in?
I was born in the poor parts of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, in the rough, mean streets of
Beverly
Hills, California. And your childhood?
Childhood was regular. I was,
Mother and father stay at home?
Mother and father are at home together.
Mm-hmm. Brothers and sisters?
I am one of five.
One of five. Which number are you?
I'm the youngest.
Youngest of five.
I'm the oops.
Yes, you are. And so you live in a very affluent home in Beverly Hills, California. What did your father do for a living?
My father was a rabbi.
Father was a rabbi. And so high school in Beverly Hills?
Actually, high school in the Valley.
Valley, okay. Raised in a religious home.
Raised in an Orthodox home.
Orthodox.
Mm-hmm.
So you were observant and bar mitzvah?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And where do you go to college?
I started at Yeshiva University in New York.
Okay. And your hope in high school and college is to do what? What was your desire, vocational desire?
It was actually to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Since in my home, I saw two types of people being respected. Those that made a lot of money and they were able to be charitable, or those that were rabbis, and I was sure I didn't want to be a rabbi.
Right. That's called in sophisticated psychological circles process of elimination.
Exactly.
Right. I don't know about A, but I sure
know about
B.
B. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. So you want to make a lot of money. Now, what is your strategy to make a lot of money?
So my initial strategy was to go into the real estate business.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to be a realtor of some type. And did you do that?
I ended up doing that, yes.
Mm-hmm. Successfully?
For a while, yeah, very successfully.
So you started on your journey successfully.
Yes.
And then what happened in the story?
So then between 2005 and 2008, I lost everything.
How did that happen?
A series of...
Now, by the way, 2008, again, we're going to do this for our audience. 2008 becomes the enormous financial catastrophe.
Right.
Right. But you posit 2005 to 2008, you lose everything. What would be the title of the irresponsibility?
Substance abuse.
Substance abuse. How do you get involved in substance abuse?
So it actually started in high school.
Okay.
So I actually started at a very similar age as Rascal. I started at 14 years old.
15, 14. Uh-huh.
And high school was, just what I would call experimentation. Mm-hmm. It was not addiction. Yet it was addictive behavior. And it was always about finding the short-term solution to the longer-term problem.
So what becomes your first drug?
Marijuana.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you start in what many would regard, particularly in today's world, as a benign use of recreational marijuana. And then what happens and when? Because it's going to lead us to 2005 to 8, where the real irresponsibility starts taking you down.
Yeah. So I would switch off, and it was food, it was alcohol, it was marijuana. Then it actually became studying. I actually became a rabbi at 19, something I never thought I would use in my lifetime, since I believed I was going to be a rich realtor. And they were, actually when I got ordained, the rabbi asked me why I was doing it, and I said to him, I've caused my mom enough pain, so I'll give her some
I owe
pleasure.
her one.
So he said, you should have told me in advance, I'd give it to you without all the tests.
And were you a good student?
I'm not sure you'd call me a good student. I did well. A lot of things came to me quickly. If I wasn't passionate about it, I was not interested in it.
So now, when does the drug use accelerate to a more dangerous level, leading to 2005, 2008?
So it was a really short period of time. It actually started probably in the end of 2004, where it got heavier. And
why does it get heavier?
I was going through emotional and internal turmoil for a really long time, and I thought that the money would fix me, and it didn't. So when I started trying out the harder stuff, it fixed me.
Temporarily.
In that moment, I thought I was Superman. Right? So in that moment,
This is a common drug addict narrative.
Yes. So they say,
I felt normal for the first time. I felt complete for the first time. I felt alive for the first time. I felt able for the first time. This is a common drug addict narrative.
it's common because that's the truth, right? That's where.
Well,
that's
it's common because it's not. It's common because there's enough familiarity that it repeats.
Yeah, and it repeats, and obviously there were many warnings from others. And
Did your parents have any sense that there was a problem?
They actually didn't at all. They were living in Israel at the time. They knew I probably drank too much, yet they would never have thought it was an addiction. That they would have thought that, I don't know, he drinks too much, maybe he'll stop. In our household, it wasn't really discussed.
So, how does this lead what happens at 2005 to 2008 that you lose your emerging fortune?
I was not paying attention. I was focused on using
drugs and
I was focused on using. So.
And by the way, spending increases.
Spending increases. Focus decreases. I was checked out in multiple ways. So I started making mistakes, and then exacerbated by the market. Yeah. And it culminated in what I'd call an explosion.
In 2008.
2008. It was a final deal that I'd done a condo development in Fresno, of all places, and I was not, my partner was supposed to do things that he ended up not doing. Had I been paying attention, I would have known that.
What becomes the hardest drug that you progress to?
I'd say cocaine and pills.
So now, how in the Lord's name do you two meet? How do you meet? And then let's talk about that, and then let's talk about what becomes of that, let's agree, maybe unusual meeting, perhaps? Well, that was a very, very fascinating edition of Without Notes. I hope you enjoyed it and found it as intriguing as I did. If you did, would you be willing, for your homework, to like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube? I think you'll find the ongoing series of Without Notes broadcasts not only interesting and educational and provocative, but also lastingly meaningful. At least I hope so.